Warning, we are about to spoil episodes 1 through 7 of Hannibal Season 3. If you haven't seen the show, then I'd recommend go watching it. Or if you've already seen it, or just don't care, then please continue.
But yeah, I was going to do a monologue talking about what's the deal with human food, but in deep artistic manner. but I couldn't find a good monologue. So now we're here without an opening joke. Simply asking, what's the deal with human food?
That's just not artsy enough for this season, man.
What if I show it through interpretive dance over an audio podcast?
Sure.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, fuck.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Cinema Roulette. It's been a good little while since we've seen the characters and what they have been up to.
Yeah, I think the last episodes were uploaded in December, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that of last year.
And we probably recorded them in November-ish.
Probably.
When the world was a less complicated place.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, Yeah, I had something, but then my brain was like, nah, bro.
No. Instead, we're just going to do the little wavy thing and get into talking about Hannibal Season 3.
Let's do it.
See, we did that thing again where we went silent, even though there was no point.
I love how you keep pointing that out.
I do.
There's no reason to point it out. You can just cut it out.
There isn't, but I find it funny.
It is. Yeah.
Just so everyone else also knows, we sat silently. Just.
But yeah, it's been probably November, December, 4 months or so since we've watched Hannibal?
4 or 5 months, yeah.
Which is probably how long it took for people to wait for season 3. So, I mean, I guess
usually that takes about a year.
Does it? Is it a year?
Yeah, because, a show plays in the fall, it does its run, and then it will come back next fall. So.
Well, no, because it goes from fall to usually goes, starting in the fall and then ending, in February or March for the season, and then it comes back in the fall, so it's, not even 9, I think it's, 6 months or something like that at most, usually. It's, half a year.
Do you want me to look up the air dates to see who is right?
You can if you want to. I mean, if it's going to bug you that much, sure. Season 2 ended on May 23rd. And
Yeah, it took about a year because it ended in May and then Season 3 starts in June.
Wow.
Of 2015.
That is way longer than I thought it was.
Well, okay, think about the show we watched.
What, you mean it took that long to produce it?
Yeah, think of all the shit they had to do and set up and probably plan ahead of time.
That's also 100% fair.
The pre- and post-production of this thing must have been fucking nuts.
It must have been. And again, I don't know about TV production schedules. I'm not as familiar if that is regular movie schedules. But, yeah.
It depends on the show.
That's true.
Also, this show, jumps around to America, to Italy, to here. There's not just one normal set.
Uh-huh.
Really? They probably could have only gotten away with that in Season 1, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I just looked up one of the writers, and Steve Lightfoot, who is a writer and producer, he was the executive producer and writer on Hannibal, and he's the same guy who is now the showrunner, or was now the showrunner for The Punisher.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand. Hannibal and The Punisher, they both have gratuitous amounts of violence.
Hannibal has more violence than the Punisher.
Oh, I'm sure it
being
does.
honest.
I'm sure it does because the Punisher, they had a more mass market than Hannibal. Hannibal was more, artsy.
Yeah, especially this fucking
Oh,
season.
Lord. It starts out. Oof, oh boy. Yeah, so I don't know if you just want to go right ahead and get into synopsis just so we can get out of the way, or
This is kind of the shortest synopsis out of all of them.
it's not going to be long because especially in the first part of this, there's just a lot of padding, like just artsy bullshit that happens because instead of having dual storylines like the main running storyline and then a side case, this season, or at least the first half of the season, focuses solely on this one thing. It's solely on Will and Jack catching Hannibal. That's what it focuses on.
Yeah, okay. So, we never looked up her name.
Who?
Fuck. Was her name Abigail?
Yeah, Abigail. It was.
If it's not Abigail, people can tell
It's
me I'm
Abigail. I remember Hannibal saying it was Abigail.
Or am I implanting that memory and she never truly existed?
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing to the next 4 minutes. Okay. So, last time on Hannibal fucked everyone's day up.
Yep.
And then just left for Italy with Scully. Yeah, I know she's not called Scully. She played Scully in the X-Files, though, and her other name is French and dumb.
It's one that we know that we are going to butcher if we even attempt to say it. So we're just going to either refer to her as Gillian Anderson or Scully. So,
and also, I'm 90% sure anytime they say her name, they whisper it.
Yeah.
But, so Hannibal has run off. I don't think he started in Italy, but this is about 8 months later. Turns out, no one died. Well, no one seemed to die.
Yeah.
In the House of Horrors.
Because Will is still...
in this 8-month period, Will is still sassy Will.
Which we're happy about.
Yes. Jack lost his wife. And Dr. Bloom, they explain, like, it kind of broke her back, the fall out the window. And the bone marrow got in her brain, which makes her crazy.
We'll talk more about that later.
That's weird.
It more makes her, like, cold, I guess. I don't know.
It changes her personality.
Yeah, which we'll discuss why that's fucking stupid later.
Well, not that it's fucking stupid. It at least gives her a character, unlike last season.
You're not wrong. That's at least more character development than she had. Oh my god.
She was such just a Deus Ex Machina whenever needed.
Oh yeah, she was kind of like just the wrench in their plans. That's all that she was.
Yeah, Mason survived the face-seeing, but we knew that, and puts out a hit on Hannibal.
Yeah.
Well, not a hit. He wants Hannibal taken alive and brought back to him so he may eat Hannibal.
He more buys off the police, not so much, blackmail, but
yeah, or
put a hit out, I should say. But yeah, it's more like he'll.
Well, it was open to anyone. It's just police are a lot easier to bribe.
Yeah. And it was that one particular guy. I still love that scene. It was just really weird to me how he was talking and the dude was sitting in a bank with a bunch of money.
Yeah.
I don't get that. It's like, did he go in there and get the payment early? Is that what that was? What the hell was that? Or was he just sitting in a bank to flex, just like, hey, I already have money, but I'll take your money?
Or maybe it was an easy place to
broadcast,
do a transaction.
Yeah, because I what do they call them, safety deposit boxes? Like, I think no one can bother you if you're back there. Yeah.
Don't know. I've never been to an Italian bank.
That's also fair.
And also, I think it'd be really hard to get to Italy right about now. Fun, but okay. So that's what happened in the 8 months. Then I forget how he figures out where Hannibal is, but he's just like, Hannibal. Oh, no, because Hannibal sends a postcard for Jack, basically, being like, I'm sorry your wife is dead. Also, ha ha ha, I got away.
Yeah, pretty much. When that was revealed, I'm like, Hannibal, you didn't. And he opens up, it's from Hannibal. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Asshole. Also, I'm pretty sure Jack killed his wife.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's heavily implied. Yeah, yeah. Because like he
Yeah, because
injected the
she was
thing.
just living in constant pain.
Yeah, he injected the thing into her IV bag, and it showed the thing going in the IV bag, and then she died. So
Then she did a big dead.
yeah, because I mean that was last season one of the biggest, one of the most unnecessarily sad subplots where she was dying of a terminal disease and just wanted to fucking die, but Lawrence Fishburne was just being selfish and wanted to hang on to her.
It's weird. It's such a hard topic to talk about, and I don't want to.
No, me neither.
Unless we get a movie where we're forced to talk about it. But since it's an easily ignored subplot in this show, we will continue.
Yeah. I would have said a spoiler, but I'm not going to. So I just realized I was like, wait a minute, shouldn't say that.
What's it a spoiler for?
I'll tell you after recording.
Is it something on the wheel?
No.
No. Okay. But besides the point,
my picks have been my picks for movies and TV shows have been depressing enough. I don't think I'd pick that.
I don't know. Maybe you would. Okay, I can get back on track. But basically, this postcard makes Will go, "Oh fuck, I gotta go to Italy." So he sails a boat all the way there. I guess it's cheaper than buying a plane. Wait, did he have to sail all the way back? No, they're kidnapped.
Yeah, they're kidnapped and drugged. So
how is he going to get his boat back?
I guess he won't.
I like how that's my main concern. Poor boat.
It's just gonna sit there without an owner, and then maybe someone's gonna steal it, and I don't know.
Maybe they'll have a good time. I don't know. But so you go. Also, Hannibal is hiding out under a fake name with Scully and is working at a museum with a new
curator.
Well, yeah, he's a curator for torture devices, basically. I forget what it's called when they get a new part of the museum.
What do you mean? A new exhibit?
Like, exhibit, yes. He's talking about an exhibit of torture devices, and he kills 2 of the people working there.
Yeah, because he's kind of rubbing shoulders with the curators just to, kind of rise in the ranks and maybe, work there or something. But, yeah, he ends up killing 2 of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Scully totally killed one of them.
I love that moment because he's such a dick about it. He fucking just stabs him in the fucking head and his face starts contorting and he can't see anything. Scully pulls it out because she's too disgusted and he just goes, "Well, technically, I didn't kill him."
Ho ho ho. And then Hannibal sets up someone to look like a broken heart. And Will finds it and is like, "Oh, fuck, he is here."
That's just gonna be your dialogue summing you up. Just, "Oh, fuck, he is here. Oh, fuck."
Oh, fuck, he lived here. Oh, fuck, he is there. Oh, fuck, my head's getting sawed. But it turns out Hannibal is watching Will, and Will this entire time has actually been there with Abigail, and they were having a nice time trying to find Hannibal. But then Abigail disappears because Abigail is actually dead and Will is just crazy.
Which we kind of knew, but this establishes, yeah, he's still crazy.
Well, I actually was caught off guard by it because they did show her in the, walk into his hospital room.
It was a brilliant fake out because, like you said, I was like, oh, she could have imagined it. But like you pointed out, the guy said, "Hey, you have a visitor."
And I'm pretty sure he said she. But I could have just implied that in my brain.
Yeah, because it actually ends up being Dr. Shilton.
Dr. Shilton, which also, if you're like, well, Abigail got her throat slit, so how would you expect that to survive? Shilton survived a fucking shot to the head that blew out the back of his brain, but hey, who cares?
Apparently people in this universe are just the most durable objects in the world.
They're just the most durable fucking things in existence. I mean, Will goes through hell, and we'll get to that.
Whew, yeah, he does.
But yeah, Will had Ghost Abigail, but Abigail Ghost disappears. Turns out Hannibal is in the church where the Will knew the dead body was. And they run through the catacombs of the church, and Will is like, I forgive you, Hannibal. And then Hannibal runs off. Husbando finally noticed him. Then Will decides to go to Hannibal's home.
Yeah, and it's after that episode that's revealed Jack is still alive, because he's actually not in the first few episodes.
Yeah, he doesn't come back till the third episode, where we get to see all the stuff that happened in the 8 months.
Yep.
Will goes to Hannibal's home, which is being watched over by a maid from his younger years, even though she looks younger than Hannibal, now that I think about it.
Yeah, was she supposed to be older?
Yeah, because according to...
Hold on. All you said was according to, and then it just went completely silent.
Fun. Thanks, Internet. According to the lore, it was Hannibal's aunt's maid. And her name is Chio.
Yeah, and it's a little hard of a name to remember, because every time I say it, they kind of whisper it like, Chio.
Yeah, they just say it kind of quickly.
Yeah.
And Will sneaks around her trying to get information, finds a guy who's trapped in the basement that Chio believes killed Hannibal's sister. Also, Hannibal had a sister. Who knew? Besides people who read the books, I guess.
Who knew? Hannibal sure did, because she tasted good.
Spoilers! But Chio's like, after almost killing Will because he was trespassing, he's like, I'm not leaving, I have to watch over this guy because Hannibal told me to. And Will's like, he probably wants you to kill him. And she goes, but I won't.
Yeah.
So not Hannibal, Will lets the dude out. The dude goes back and tries to kill her, so she's forced to kill the guy. And then Will's like, wow, that went suddenly badly.
Who would have known?
Who could have guessed?
Yeah, right?
And she's like, I will help you find Hannibal because I got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
And then they go on a train. And then she pushes Will off the train. Because she wants to protect and cage Hannibal.
Yeah. Because reasons.
Because reasons we'll probably figure out later. Or because Hannibal used his mind tricks on her, which is probably the case. But meanwhile, like we said, Mason is hiring police officers and whatnot to capture Hannibal. Also, Dr. Bloom is now Mason's therapist, sort of.
Yeah.
More of just the accomplice trying to capture Hannibal and kill him. And one cop gets really close, but instead of just, shooting Hannibal, which would have probably been the smarter thing to do, he tries to take Hannibal alive and dies.
Yep.
But Jack Crawford's there and beats up Hannibal, and it's really badass, but we're moving past this quickly because we'll come back to it later.
Yep.
And due to the way Hannibal set up the last cop's body, he is able to escape. The cops are now heavily on Hannibal's tail, and Scully is like, I'm not going with you because this seems like a you problem. And Hannibal's like, fuck. But also Scully's like, I know you're going to try and eat me, and I'm not cool with that. So you leave.
Yeah, she totally just kicks him out. Understand.
Yes. And he leaves. And then Hannibal meets up with Will at a museum. And they have a very awkward conversation with each other. It's like, hey, you want to, just get out of here? And they try to. Ooh. And Will is about to stab Hanny Boy, but Chio is standing on a roof with a sniper rifle that she got from somewhere. and shoots Will before he can stabble the Hanny.
Yeah.
I need to stop talking like spoilers ahead.
I was going to say, that was very Lyle sentence of you.
And Hannibal takes Will back to the apartment that he is squatting in, which used to be the apartment of one of the people he killed. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're okay. Also, thanks for trying to stab me, asshole."
Yeah, he was like, well, here's your forgiveness, and he hands him the knife.
And Will's like, "Oh, I'm so fucking." And then I think Hannibal drugs him, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he drugs him. Yeah, drugs him, yes.
Drugs him and then ties Will down to a chair at a dining table, waits for Jack to come, and Will is terrible at telling where Hannibal is hiding.
Yeah.
Or maybe Will's just not a narc. I don't know.
What are you, a narc?
Hannibal takes out Jack by cutting his Achilles. Is that an Achilles tendon?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, it cuts his Achilles tendon and then ties Jack to a chair. And is basically about to saw open Will's head and feed it to Jack.
Yeah.
But then we hard cut it, and it turns out Will and Hannibal were kidnapped and are now at Mason's home. And it turned out a bunch of the police force who were the way Will found where Hannibal was is him and Jack interviewed Scully, and Scully was high as a kite, but was like, he's kind of here as there. As Will's like, oh, I know. But the cops showed up before Jack could leave, and then they figured out where Hannibal was through the high Scully.
Yeah, she just gets high as balls. It's really funny.
And because they're like, we know you were helping out, but we could turn a blind eye if you just tell us where the hell he is.
Yeah.
She's like, okay. And these cops were bought out by Mason, and they only wanted Will and Hannibal, so they kidnap them and send them to Mason. And then they're like, we'll kill this officer and make it look like Hannibal did. And they're about to do it, but Chio shoots the two guards in the face, and then comes down there and is like, where's Hannibal? I'll tell you if you get me out of here. How can I trust you? I have no reason to chase you.
Yeah.
And then they make a deal.
Yeah, he was like, my main priority right now is getting out of this country because I'm alive and I was supposed to be dead. So that really won't give me much time to do anything, intervene with you.
It's just like, fair point.
Yeah.
But now we're back at Mason's place, and Mason's sister is also still here.
Yep.
As promising her that he has her baby. He doesn't. Well, he kind of does. It's gross. Also, Mason's sister and Dr. Bloom are lesbians. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
But Mason is like, okay, we're gonna fucking eat this guy. And even has a chef who Hannibal is oddly amused by, or is like, oh, you're actually doing this right. That's good to know.
Yeah, because like he explains to Hannibal what he's going to do and how he's going to prepare each part of his body. And he just kind of has this smirk on his face the whole time, like, wow, I'm actually impressed.
At least you got someone who knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Also, Mason plans to have Will's face off and put onto his face so he can add extra irony to eating Hannibal.
Yes. And because I'm sure he was sick of, talking through a fucked up face, but
yeah. But Dr. Bloom and Mason's sister do not really like this plan, and Dr. Bloom is like, okay, the only way I can really save Will if I let Hannibal out, so they do.
Yeah, they make a deal.
They also make a deal. Also, they did find Mason's sister's child. It was in a pig. We'll get to that. We'll sadly get to that. Will was in the middle of the face transplant surgery, but during that time, Hannibal was able to kill the guard and put his face on Mason's face. Mason wakes up with Dr. Bloom and his sister, and they're like, and Mason's sister really wants a baby because if Mason dies, all the money and stuff of the family goes to no one.
Yep.
or it goes to I think they even say like it's some church.
It's like a Baptist church. Like if there's no air, it'll go entirely to the church.
Because their dad was sexist. Luckily, Dr. Bloom used a cattle prod on the knocked out Mason to make him come, and they took his semen.
It's implied that they sodomized him, and then like they put it up his ass and then shocked it to stimulate it from behind.
Yeah.
That's implied what they did.
Well, it's not implied. They say that.
Yeah.
They cattle prod his prostate.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know why that image is somewhat humorous to me.
It's like you point out, it's like someone in like the deep south probably tried that.
Try.
As soon as they heard
or
that.
I just imagine that they keep fucking up, so they just have to keep tasing this unconscious man. Anyway.
Oh, shit, no, it's not up. No, a little more. Oh, not enough.
Oh, I missed the jar. Do it again.
Just something really darkly humorous about that.
And then after Mason pulls a gun and tries to kill them, realizing he's kind of fucked, they push him into a pool with an eel, which, as they're drowning him, the eel goes down his throat and starts to eat him.
Just eats him from the inside out. And it's one of the most satisfying deaths because he's one of the most vile characters I've ever seen on a screen.
I also would have accepted a chainsaw. Yeah. I don't care where they got it.
Right.
Just a hardcore chainsaw split him in two.
Just comes in Evil Dead style.
Yeah. But what happened to Hanny Boy and Will? Well, Hannibal just walked Will all the way home and put him in bed.
Yeah, and then like as the guards are chasing him, the sniper lady comes in and takes out the guards for them.
Oh, yeah. So that way he can make a clean escape.
Yes.
And then Will's like, I am so fucking done with this. I don't want to know where you are. I don't want to know what you're doing. I never want to see you again.
I never want to see you. Yeah, I never want to see you, hear you, or even think about you again. Is basically what he's saying, because he's like, you're not in my memory castle or whatever.
Yeah, just basically calling Hannibal a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then Hannibal's like, okay, and then leaves. And then Jack comes to Will's house, and Will's like, Hannibal got away. But Hannibal walks out with his hands up and gets arrested and goes, I want you to be able to know exactly where I am, what I'm doing, and be able to see me whenever you want.
Exactly.
Because he's a total bitch.
I just kind of love that, how it's like for that petty of a reason.
I don't think it was just for pettiness. I think it was because he would have...
He would have what?
Missed Will.
Yeah, well, he would have missed Will, and I think part of it, at least a little part of it, was just to fuck with Will. Like, ha.
It's like, oh, you know you'll want some more, Hanny Boy.
Yep.
But yeah, that was the first half of Hannibal Season 3.
Yep.
Okay, where the fuck to start?
Well, there wasn't much bad, so why don't we get that out of the way?
I actually can see the problems with this season, because so far, from what I've heard with fans, this is the most divisive season.
Because it gets, and the show before was very artsy and very trippy, but especially at the beginning of the season, it takes the artsiness and just amps it up to 11.
Yeah, it feels like a complete art house film. Or, well, show.
Yeah.
And I miss having the anchor of plot from the other two seasons.
Yeah, because, like, they did get artsy, but, like, usually the B plot, like, you know, the case of the week that they were following, was usually grounded firmly in reality.
Well, okay, maybe not firmly.
Not firmly.
We had a tome pole of bodies at one point.
That was still rad as fuck. Like, not firmly in reality, but at least it was implied that, you know, this actually happened.
Yeah, we weren't stuck in complete Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And I think also my slight problem with it is it's... I guess we can go with a food metaphor, because fun. But with changing it up in the last season where there were, or the last few seasons where it was, the cop plot and then the weird trippy shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was two different meals, so you could get like you get the weird savory flavor of the artsy fartsy stuff, and then you get the sweet, comforting, normal part of the show.
Yeah, and it's like, and part of it, I think, it just has a much slower pace because of that. Because there's no filler in this. It's all focused on the main plot. Of just trying to catch Hannibal Lecter and everyone's exploits, what Hannibal is up to and what everyone else is up to. That's what the season is about. And I think instead of the B plot, we get just a lot of artsy fartsy bullshit, which I respect a lot. I respect the the directors, the directors and the showrunners for, trying to make something completely different, and something that was just radically different from anything on TV and having some artistic credit. But at the same time, I'm with you that I can totally see how it would have lost viewership and then like kind of thrown people off a bit.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, like, if you have just that savory flavor, it gets boring when you can only eat that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, because it kind of made it special when we went from, a normal situation of like, oh, we found this body.
Yeah.
Who did? And then all of a sudden we get this weird artsy stuff. It felt kind of surprising. But when you're stuck with just that, it gets kind of tedious in a way.
A little bit. And that's not saying it's bad. It's still really fucking good if you stick with it, because I think the first few episodes especially are way more artsy than the rest of the season.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, it's not bad for us, but I also 100% understand the people who are like, this went way too far.
Yeah. I get it.
The other thing that is just stupid no matter what is the fact that the one doctor survived.
Yeah, because again, the way they explain it, I had to look this up because I didn't really catch in the show when it shows the bullet going through his head. It does show the bullet traveling right below his brain, because the gray matter obviously is the brain, and the red matter below it is going through
the fleshy bits.
The fleshy bits. But but I would have bought it if the exit wound that they showed hadn't been so fucking gigantic.
Yeah, what's his name?
Shilton.
Say that again.
Shilton.
Okay. Yeah, because we see in slow-mo, it goes through his cheek and then under his brain, even though it was his upper cheek.
Yeah, because
and the bullet curves down and then up again, and just okay.
So they got the same ammunition that they got for JFK's assassination.
They got the same ammunition from fucking Wanted, apparently.
Right?
Just this. No, these were the defective bullets that couldn't kill anyone.
Yeah. You shoot it into someone's head, but it somehow misses all of the vital parts.
And it comes out the center back of his head, which, in my mind at least, I'm pretty sure that hits the brainstem.
Yeah, I don't think you're walking away from that. At least if you do, you're going to be paralyzed completely, and he's not.
Nope, he just has his
little cane thing. And
the top of it, a part of his upper jaw is missing.
Yeah, because the bullet, shattered his jaw.
But yeah, that also, I do like the clever scene, because it turns out he's the one who, like we said, walked in instead of Abigail, but he still says the same things Abigail said for the most part.
Yeah, which is, again, pretty clever. So
I was like, okay, that's funny.
Yeah, but yeah, that was bullshit, because apparently, just again, people in this season are just ridiculously durable.
Honestly,
except for Abigail, I guess.
Well, Abigail survived a throat sling already.
Yes,
so
it's understandable that. And I think it was on the other side of her throat, yeah?
Maybe, I don't remember. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Back in season 1. Well, since we're on characters, do you want to talk about Dr. Bloom or Mason?
Let's save Mason. Let's talk about Bloom. Because that was another thing that we didn't like.
Well, I like that she's actually doing
character.
something and is a character now.
Because the thing about it is, I would have been just fine if they had just not explained why her personality changed from, you know, like a cardboard cutout to just this cold-hearted bitch. I would have completely understood if she was just mad at Hannibal because they were fucking at the time, and like, you know, Abigail pushes her out the window, and Hannibal probably walked right by her on his way out, probably. And so I'd understand if she was just mad and wanted revenge. If they had just, like, not explained that, I would have implied, okay, she just wants revenge on Hannibal. But no, they explained that, oh, she had bone marrow go into her blood, and that changed her personality?
Yes, brain damage of any kind can change a person's personality.
Yeah, or brain damage, but they don't even say that. It's just marrow is in your blood. That's all they give.
Marrow got into her brain, which someone can happily tell us if that is an actual thing.
I'm not a doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
But yeah, that just felt like a really weird and needless excuse for her to be different.
Yeah, I could have just implied that. They did not need to explain the stupid bone marrow thing. If they had just left that line out, I would have been fine, honestly. That's just silly. That's just silly. Even for this show, that's really silly.
Yeah. The longer the show goes on, the more weird and oddly silly moments there are.
Yeah. Was there any problems you have with Mason, or like negatives, or like?
Well, I don't know if feeling physically disgusted watching a show is a negative or a positive.
Because here's the one other thing that I think we pointed out was a bit of an issue, was the dialogue especially got really artsy along with the film.
Yeah, that's what also took me out of the show a few times, is they stopped talking like people, and it feels like a student art house film at times.
Yeah, because like the dialogue is a lot less natural because this season is a lot less grounded in reality. It's more trippy and more artsy, so they kind of have those things where people will just talk for long extended monologues, and it just doesn't sound like something a person would say in normal conversation.
Yeah. Basically, everyone has turned into a dramatic narrator, and that's the only way they can talk.
Yeah. I think that's it for the negatives, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about Mason, who is...
Yeah, while we're on characters, let's talk about Mason.
One of the most vile characters I have ever seen in TV and movies. Like, ugh.
Let's quickly think about the things we have seen throughout this series. We've seen people mixed with beehives. We've seen a totem pole of corpses. We've seen many people eaten.
Yeah, we've seen a guy that's being embalmed alive and has to like rip his skin out. We see like people with mushrooms growing out their body, one of whom is still alive.
We've seen people with their skin that tears off like it's nothing.
Yep. Yeah, lot of gore, just a lot of gore.
Yet, just Mason talking a lot of the time made me actually sick while watching this show.
There was one scene where, because, you know, in the last season it showed that she was pregnant, and I forget if they killed the baby. How did the baby die, or did they abort it?
He basically violently aborted it.
He violently aborted it and took her eggs. I guess, like, he either mutilated it or did a surgery to where, like, she doesn't have any more eggs in her vagina.
Yeah, he did a surgery, but he had done poorly, so she could never use, his sister could never use it again.
she can still feel sexual pleasure and have sex, but she can't ever, physically have a baby. And they're talking, and he's like, oh, I want to give you a gift and like your eggs and stuff. And then he just goes into this disgusting monologue where he talks about how like the eggs fell out and he kept the eggs and infused it with his sperm to make a baby.
They were going to make an inbred baby. Through it's a surrogate mother is the proper term, right?
Yes, a surrogate mother is the proper term, except in this case, it's a surrogate pig. It's fucked.
It is.
And just him talking about how he saved her eggs and blah, blah, blah. And anytime he talks about, like, sexual things, like, oh, like, the doctor and blah, 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 it just made us physically ill.
I also will give insane credit to the fact that Mason is played by a different person, and we did not catch that until we looked it up.
Yeah, I was looking on the wiki, and I looked, and it's like Mason played by this actor season 2, and this actor season 3. I'm like, wait, that wasn't the same fucking person? And you can't even tell the difference, because like the way they look, the makeup department, all that, did a fantastic fucking job of making them look pretty much identical. So
sorry.
And either the original actor wasn't available, or like you said, he might have not wanted to say that vile, disgusting shit.
Or he couldn't just do a creepy enough voice. Either way.
Because he kind of like talks like the Joker in a way. He's like, like this, and that's how he talks throughout the whole show.
Actually, it's not half bad.
Thanks.
There, I gave you one compliment. Now time for constant ridicule.
But yeah, they and again, I don't, like you said, I count it as kind of a fucked up positive that they did succeed in turning him into one of the most disgusting human beings I've ever witnessed, and his death was so satisfying. You quipped, it's the first time I've ever cheered for a crippled person's death.
Oh, that's so me too.
But man, it's just a horrible person, and it was so satisfying to see him die a horrible, painful death.
And they set it up too. There's actually constant camera shots of that eel in that pool.
Even back in season 2, they set that up.
Did they?
Yeah, there were shots of the eel in season 2.
Weird.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it's a moray eel, but that's just me.
I was really hoping it was an electric eel and his corpse was going to light up or something. Like, I know that's not how electric eels actually work.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been cool.
It would have been really cool, but still, an eel eating him from the inside out is pretty rad.
Yeah, but add electricity.
Exactly. What could go wrong? It's just
I know they're not actually electric. The bite is just as painful as a shock. That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up. I'm having fun.
But yeah, that was disgustingly well done. And the
I forget which episode we mentioned. Like, it's good when a show can make you feel, or show or movie can make you feel something. It's rare for it to make me feel disgust without it I guess, quote unquote, cheating.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Human Centipede series, how that I would consider quote unquote cheating, because that's just showing disgusting shit until
literally.
Literally.
But yeah, no.
Until the audience feels uncomfortable. But this one, it's just talking.
Yeah. Because they don't even, they show his surgery and how they reconstructed his face and everything. But, they don't, they showed her strapped to the bed and, him with the saw taunting her. But they don't show the actual surgery, and they don't have flashbacks to him doing the egg thing. It's just him talking about it. And it's one of those things where the implications in your mind end up being way worse than anything that, they could have shown.
Yeah.
It's
actually,
sorry, go on.
No, I'll let you go first.
I didn't have anything. I was just wincing.
Okay. Actually, going back to another small negative I had, and this was just for one episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because for during episode 3, like I said, they are basically showing what happened in that 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they show Mason's facial reconstruction, and it just felt like pointless gore, honestly.
Because it's like, that's nothing we couldn't have implied. Because they straight up show his face in the first episode when he's talking to Dr. Shilton. Because he removes his thing, and then Shilton removes his, lower jaw and
Upper jaw.
removes his like jaw piece in his upper jaw, the makeup, and his eye piece, just to show him. And he's like, now I can talk face to face or whatever. And then they straight up show it, and it's like, we could have just implied that we know what happened. He took the stretchy thing and put it over him, but just, you're right, it felt needless.
I think most people in the audience understand what a skin graft is.
Yeah, I think most people can grasp that.
Yeah, and since we're watching this off the Blu-rays, these all are producer cuts, so I don't know what aired on TV and what didn't, but I have a strong feeling that part was just added in the producer's cut.
Yeah, because I don't know, they can get away with some pretty gratuitous violence on American television, but
I know, but there was no point to that. Like, it's a dead silent scene of just showing it, and then it cuts to something completely different.
Not really dead silent. It's just more that it's just no music. It just like you hear the instruments and stuff. So
yeah. But, like, nothing important is said, nothing really important shown that we couldn't imply, so I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't air on TV.
Also true, yeah, because that honestly, that could have been cut and we would have lost nothing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else for characters.
Because Dr. Bloom and his sister, I know we mentioned, they're lesbians now, and that was pretty hot.
And that is probably the most artsy fucking lesbian sex scene I will ever see.
It's literally edited like a kaleidoscope. It's like their bodies are like, there's copies of them, and it's like you're twisting a kaleidoscope, and that's how it's made. This show gets really goddamn trippy, and like part of me loves that because I love trippy shit and trippy visuals, but like they went a little too artsy in places, I think.
Yeah, it just needs some moments to ground itself, but it never did.
They make putting a coin into a phone booth artsy.
Yeah. That was a weird moment. Hannibal and Will still do a fantastic job.
Fuck yeah. All the main characters still do a great job. The acting is fantastic, and the script, when it's not being super goddamn artsy, is still great, honestly.
I do love how solidly Will does not give a single fuck at the end of this arc.
Oh yeah, he's just fucking done. Understandably so, because goddamn did he get tortured quite a bit.
He almost got lobotomized. He's been drugged twice, probably.
He got thrown off a fucking train. He got his gut cut open by Hannibal. He got his head fucking like part of his skull was torn into by a buzzsaw, and then like he had part of his face removed because of the surgery. He just goes through hell.
And then some asshole is telling it. He's sitting at a table, and some asshole with an asshole for a mouth now is saying, "I'm going to rip your face off."
And I like how you pointed out the skin was probably literally taken from his asshole.
Oh yeah, that's usually when it comes to skin grafts. That's one of the main places they take from.
Yeah.
And then Will bites off part of the chef's cheek, which is fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all we have to say, I think, about characters. Just everyone does a fantastic job when the script isn't up its own ass.
Yeah, we could talk about one character moment, the satisfied moment. Jack beats the shit out of Hannibal.
That was fucking amazing. Because like you said, Hannibal's hiding out in Italy, and Jack and Will are tracking them. And Hannibal, because there's this one Italian police officer that's in contact with Jack. And he's the one that Mason and all them initially sell. They initially, I guess, buy off would be the proper term. And because he goes to try to, because they say we need proof, because they want him to give Hannibal to him, but we need proof. So like we need a fingerprint from his thing. And then Hannibal is like, chopping up
a knife.
He has a knife. He's like eating a fruit or something, and he puts it on a table, and you can see the fingerprint. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I have this family heirloom because he was related to a famous person who got executed." And he puts it on the table, hoping that Hannibal will grab it with his bare hands. And then Hannibal puts on gloves to inspect it.
But there was a fingerprint on the knife.
On the knife. So Hannibal walks away, and he tries to grab knife, and then they're talking about like how he was tortured and his guts thrown out. He's like, I was thinking about doing the same thing to you. And as soon as he grabs his knife, grabs him from behind, drugs him, cuts his gut open, and then pushes him out a window where his guts just hang out, just fucking fall
also
out
puts a noose around him.
Yeah, puts a noose around him and throws him out the window, so when the noose catches his neck, like the guts will just get ripped out from the force. And who shows up right at that exact same moment but Jackie Boy? And he looks right up at Hannibal, runs into the building, and then when he finally sneaks up behind him, just beats the everlasting shit out of him.
I think Hannibal goes through like 3 or 4 panes of glass.
Even John Wick would be like, damn, dude.
Jack just goes hog wild on this guy.
It just comes out of nowhere, but it is one of the most satisfying scenes I've seen in this show. And like Hannibal's like, oh, what will you do when I'm gone? How will you feel when I'm gone? And Jack just has this like grin on his face. And I was like, I think that says it all.
I thought he said something like, I'll sleep a lot better or something like that.
No, he said how will you feel? He does the grimace. He's like, alive.
So good. That's probably my favorite moment in the arc, if I'm being honest.
Jack is just done with his shit and wants revenge.
But yeah, I think that's all the character stuff.
Yep. I think we've covered most of it, honestly. There's not much to say about the sound design. It's still fucking fantastic.
The sound design was weird, especially with how much range the music had.
The music choice, it was a much more artsy season, so the music too, it kind of got some wild varied choices. Like there's a lot of electronic like noises. But the one scene where Hannibal's like, he breaks the one curator's neck, there's like this like jazz theme going on, and as he's crawling away, it's like this freeform jazz, and it's just odd and off-putting.
Yeah, but I really liked it. I liked the whole medley of music.
It again, like it does really add to the trippy scenes, and like it does feel like an art house film, honestly. The cinematography is still goddamn gorgeous. Arguably the best cinematography I've seen in the show so far, frankly.
It looked better than a lot of movies, if I'm being honest.
It did. It was fucking phenomenal. Like that opening shot where he's riding through a motorcycle through Italy, that was so pretty.
Italy at night, noted.
Oh, so pretty.
Or like any shot with the snow, just
yes, give me more. Hell yeah.
From the DP of Community comes Hannibal.
Obviously, I think that was done before Hannibal, yeah?
Yeah, Community was before Hannibal.
I think he's come a long way since then.
Or maybe he had all this talent and he just wasn't allowed to use it on a sitcom.
Yeah, exactly, because you can't really go artsy on a fucking sitcom now, can you?
Actually, thinking about it, Community did have some pretty good camera, even for a sitcom.
Yeah, you told me that. Like, I've never actually watched it. I've just watched the first 2 seasons, and that's it.
Yes. It might get better in later seasons, but season 3 was such a drag, I never moved on.
Yeah, I heard the later seasons weren't good either, so...
What? They were on Yahoo's streaming service.
Remember that, ladies and gentlemen?
Remember the Zombieland series?
The failed Zombieland series. No, that was through Amazon.
Was that Amazon? Oh,
Yeah.
I always get those two confused.
It's all good. It was a failed Prime pilot that they ended up taking down.
Oh, it's like you can't watch it anymore?
Correct.
No, that's not fair. You can't do that. You accept your you leave up your trash episodes. That's why the Nice Guys episode is still on.
Exactly. We ain't no coward. We own up our mistakes. Yes, we'll remake it at a later date, but it's still going to be there.
Another time. But getting back on topic, yeah, the cinematography just is on it. Even if for some reason you're really against this show, watch it on mute, I guess. Because it would still be worth it with how fantastic of a job they do.
It's just absolutely stunningly gorgeous to look at. Like, it's just the fact that this was an American TV show still blows me the fuck away. It just, it was it had to have been a huge risk to go this artsy on television, but man, it's unique. It's shot unlike any other American TV show I've ever watched.
And I doubt we'll see anything like it until...
Oh, I highly doubt that too, yeah.
Until maybe we look into more HBO and Showtime shows?
Well, yeah, obviously those are going to be more all shot, but this was network television. Like, I think this was NBC.
Yeah, this was NBC, and I have no idea how they got away with this.
Because something I'll reiterate that I said the past episodes, like, I've seen more fucked up horror shit on this show than I've seen in most, like, horror movies that don't have to worry about like a rating.
Yeah, like that fucking deer thing when Will's trying to get to Hannibal's house.
Yeah, like the one.
No, we're not talking about the deer monster from past seasons. It's this new creature that forms. It doesn't even have a head. It's just a stump with antlers coming.
That was in the church.
Oh, I thought that was in the woods.
No, it was like in the church.
Oh yeah, because it comes out. Yes. The heart unfolds like a flower, and that comes. Oh, that's so fucked.
It was really fucked, and it was one of the most terrifying things that I've ever seen, and it was fucking fantastic. Because I'm like, that is the most Silent Hilly thing I will probably ever see in movies and TV. That was
that, or the last episodes of season 1.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Oh hell yeah! I have my
a bit more Silent Hilly.
Yeah, I have my Silent Hill media right here. They did a great job. It was fantastic. Oh yeah, because it was just literally like a backwards human body with like 2 antlers sticking out where the head would be. It's just
It's so fucked.
Oh, it was fucked. It was beautiful. Mwah.
But yeah, besides that, is there anything else really to talk about?
I think I'm good. I think like we said, like we'd rate this like just slightly below the other seasons. Just slightly.
Yeah. If it doesn't start to anchor itself with the last 6 episodes, I might make it go like a notch lower.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know next is Red Dragon. Like, literally, the next episode is called The Great Red Dragon.
Yeah, the last half of this season is an adaptation of Red Dragon, so.
And a part of me feels like that needs an anchor of reality in order to work.
I'm sure it will be. I have a feeling that that'll be more of a return to form. Like, they wanted to get more experimental and get, their artsy craving or whatever they had. They wanted to get their ideas out. And then I have a feeling like this is going to be more like, okay, we got that out of our system. Now we can just go back to normal.
Cut to our next episode where our opening joke is, we were very wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think that's it, man.
That's it for now, and then I forget what movie is next. Because last was Man Bites Dog.
After it, I think it's Lock, Stock. Let me check.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Lock, Stock, because it's
Okay.
Guilty Crown Part 2, Man Bites Dog, Hanny Season 3 Part 1, then Lock, Stock, then Hanny Season 3 Part 2, Lone Wolf and Cub. And we'll be caught up.
Yeah, and then we have to get some more backlogged episodes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I have not much else to say except I'm excited to see where it goes. So
But yeah, after Hannibal, after we finish up Hannibal, we're going to spin the long series wheel finally, and we'll see what our next long show is.
I'm excited because none of those looked bad to me, honestly. They all look really interesting and really good.
They are. Probably. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, I think that's it, guys. We will catch you next time.
Bye. What's the deal with human food, though?